After a short summer break, the BTRDA season kicked off once again with the Woodpecker stages. This year the sun was shining and that meant only one thing: dust. Stephen Petch leads the championship crews away from Ludlow this weekend, with Callum Black close behind. Theo Bengry heads the two-wheel drive championship contenders away in the Silver Star category. With the route nicely mixed up for this year, 4 stages face the crews this morning, starting with the run out to 2 tricky stages through Radner Forest. On to the first of the day's stages then, and fastest out of the blocks would be this man, Hugh Hunter, Rob Fagg alongside, using a Fiesta WRC for the first time this weekend and clearly settling in well. Does this car suit Hugh as well as his Focus used to? The lead would only be a single second though. It was close already.
It's a really good car to drive, a lot of fun, and the stages are great. Again, same for everybody, hampered with dust again through Hay Park, but the stages are brilliant and really enjoying the car, yeah.
Small crest.
The lead of the event had previously been held by Callum Black and Elliot Edmondson, but problems with the car cutting out through stage 4 would lose them the lead, putting them down to second place at this stage.
All right. No. Don't know what's happening. Got nothing. Okay, just fuel pressure. No fuel pressure. Turn it off. Switch it all off. Okay. Flat 6 right over crest, 30, shortest, flat 4 left in, 80, slowing of a small crest, 30, late hairpin right at lane.
Frustrated, to be honest. We would have been fastest by miles, I think, in there, but we had the engine cut out for 30 seconds. Same as last year, cut on the same stage. I really don't know what it was. We couldn't get it to go at all. It took 3 attempts and then it fired up, so lost a lot of time, unfortunately. But we'll keep trying, keep battling for the championship.
Stephen Petch and Michael Wilkinson were also having some problems. 2 overshoots on the opening stages of the event would see them lose some time, ending the morning with 3rd place. They were in line for a championship win this weekend, so they'd have a measured drive for the rest of the day.
A nightmare, to be honest. First stage had 2 overshoots, lost 20 odd seconds. Second one was all right. First one out of service, lost a load of time. I don't know why. It felt really unstable and had no grip, and it showed in the time. We lost a load, but we had a good push in that last stage, and I think the time was pretty good. I'm fairly confident that will pull us a bit more time back, but yeah, a bit inconsistent today, I think.
Luke Francis and John Roberts would get caught out in Hay Park, going off the stage and losing some valuable time. They start the day with 3rd, changing to 4th by the time they reach service. And Charlie Payne and Carl Williamson were struggling to get up to speed with the car. Some bad events behind them hadn't helped, and for this weekend it would be 5th place after stage 4. Tom Preston and Stuart Loudon meanwhile joined the championship crews again for this round, showing some good speed as well in the Skoda to lie in 6th place on our overall leaderboard at this stage. The Group N battle would, as always, be hard fought from the off. Russ Thompson and Andy Murphy reaching service with the lead in that category this morning, and it's a lead of 15 seconds. Thompson's closest challenge for the position would be Richard Hill and Stefan Evans. They lie 2nd for now. A spin on the opening stage hadn't helped their conquest, but things had gone okay since then, with the fight beyond. Pat Naylor and Ian Lawrence will be struggling with the car's setup. They've been on tarmac settings for the rally at Donington Park, and the change back to gravel seemed to have upset the car somewhat. They lie 3rd in the Group N battle for now, but they were struggling as things went on. And rounding out the top 10 overall were Peter Stevenson and Ian Windress. No problems for the pair, and some good pace to start the day on this round of the championship. As always, we'll just take a look at some of the classes outside of the top 10, and it will be second in the B13 class for Simon Rogers and Wyn Davies. Luke Francis out in the lead of that class, but the times in the remaining podium places was close. Just 10 seconds separated Rogers from Tony Carinanti and Simon Coates at this stage. Third place in the B13 class and lying in 14th overall. There's frustration for Martin and Dawn England, retiring in the early stages, having been running in 7th place up until that point, suffering with clutch issues on the car. In the Silver Star, it will be the lead for Ashley Davies and Sam Fordham. They take a small advantage in the category overall, but surely after last time out, the confidence advantage would be high. It was a good lead over their main championship rivals as well.
Yeah, good. Struggling with the heat in the car. We're getting quite hot. Dust is a problem. We're catching the cars ahead of us. We're getting pockets of dust. You throw the car into there, and then we're sort of ending up halfway around the corner, blind. But we're pushing on, having a good battle with, I think, Rob and who's it, Jobson and Mike. And so yeah, Nick Dobson. We're battling with them. So yeah, it's good.
Second in the category would be these guys, Dave and Toby Brick. 6 seconds back from the lead, and of course leading the way in the 1400s too for the father and son crew. Clearly pushing hard on the opening stages of the day, but do the Bricks know any other way?
It's hot and fast, hot and fast.
A few scary moments?
We've had a few scary moments. We haven't been on the road all the while for some reason, but we're still here, so that's good.
Brick would be chased down by 1400 rivals Chris Powell and Jim Lewis. 2 seconds would be the difference. The pair had been leading the battle on the previous stage, but were swapping times throughout the morning. For Nick Dobson and Steve Pugh, it would be 4th place. They didn't think the pace was good enough, but would be surprised when it came to checking the results. 4th place for now, a nice surprise as well, leading the way in the B11 class. Daniel Beckham and Howard Pridmore were on a charge from the start, making a good start to the rally to lie in 3rd place at one stage. That would change slightly though in the 4th stage of the day. They slipped back down a little into 5th. Rob Dennis and Andrew Boswell return after a short break from the stages. They take it easy on the morning's runs, easing themselves back in, but would still be fast enough for 6th place overall and the lead in the H3 class. Andy Davison and Tom Murphy, meanwhile, would have the class championship in mind this weekend. They'd be happy with their pace overall and were doing exactly what they needed to do for the championship, following the brief closely. 7th place overall, 2nd in the class for now. Barry Jordan and James Grattan-Smith would have their eyes on the championship overall. The Silver Star title was looking like a strong possibility. They bring out the ex-Russell Brooks and David Stokes Mark II Escort this weekend as well, and don't take long to get used to the change. Paul Street and Ian Jones wouldn't be far behind Jordan in the overall and class positions. 3rd place in the H3 class at this stage and lying in 9th place on the leaderboard. And rounding out the top 10 in the Silver Star at this stage would be Finley Retson and Tom Hind. Only a few events into Finley's time on gravel and already leading the way in the N3 class and pushing some good overall times as well. In some of the class positions just outside the top 10, it will be the H2 class lead for Steve Ward and Mike Crawford, sitting in 11th place overall. And it will be the B10 class lead for this man, William Hill, Richard Crozier alongside. A good start to the day for the pair and a good lead in that position as well. And they take 12th place overall on the leaderboard in the Silver Star at this stage. Freddie Brick and Rob Woodhouse would round out the podium on the 1400 leaderboard. A little way off the pace at the top, but 3rd place in the class was still theirs for now. For Alistair Curry and Stephen Brown, it will be 2nd place in the Fiestas behind Finley Retson up ahead. The pair were enjoying some good times, just over 20 seconds back from their class lead. David Dobson and Graham Hepworth would end the morning with 2nd place in the H2 class. The times in the overall results would be close around them now, just 5 seconds back from Curry. And indeed, the times behind will be close as well, with Colin Griffiths and Jack Bowen lying just a further 1 second back on the overall times, themselves second in the B12 class. And just to add to the intensity that was hotting up in this part of the leaderboard, third in that class will be Mike Wolf and Mark Twinham. 3 seconds the difference between the BMW crews at this stage in the rally. For Bob Vardy and Ben Cressy, it will be second place in the B10 class. The pair still a little way off the class lead, but holding a good advantage in that position themselves. Ed Fossey and Chris Sharp-Simkis, meanwhile, lie fourth in the 1400 category at this stage in the rally, as well as 20th overall. Richard Wells and Calvin Holdsworth would finally be having some luck. After a bad run of events recently, they reached service with third place in the N3 class. And they were taking some time to get back into the groove. For Zach Hughes and Jamie Mills, it will be third place in the B10 class. They were close on the overall times, with Wells up ahead, just 3 seconds the difference. Tommy Meadows, meanwhile, with Ian Oakey co-driving, ends the morning with fifth place in the 1400 category. Their season hadn't been the best so far, so a good finish would surely be part of the brief, at least today. In the 1400 C class, there would just be 2 crews. Leading the way in the early stages were Rob and Michael Evatt, leading the class and lying in 31st overall in the Silver Star category too. There'd be a limited number of rally first crews as well, with Andrew Wheatley and Ian Nichols happy to take the lead in the category after the morning stages in that Puma. Carl Davies and Richard Jones wouldn't be so lucky, rolling the car on the opening stage. Thankfully, a relatively light roll that they were able to recover from, with a little help from the spectators, of course, getting back on the wheels and on their way to end the morning with second in the 1400 C class. Sam Johnston and Joe Morgan will be having a mixed morning. The times were good, but they were having problems with the wheel bearing, and losing the intercom on stage 2 wouldn't have helped either. They end the morning with second place in the rally first category though. And for Ross Clements and Charlie Mason, it will be third in the 1400 C class. The MG pair also lying in 36th on our leaderboard. For David Perkins and Jordan Joins, it will be third place in rally first, rounding out the category crews with 38th on the leaderboard. So that's the morning stages complete here at the Woodpecker Rally, and it's the lead for Hugh Hunter in that Fiesta World Rally car. Ashley Davies happy to be leading Silver Star. The afternoon would see 2 more stages for the crews, including a long test through Radner Forest. On to the second half of the event then, and there'd be no change to the result for David Perkins and Jordan Joins, ending the day with third place in rally first. No change either for Ross Clements and Charlie Mason. They end the rally with third in the 1400 C class. And it's a good finish for Sam Johnson and Joe Morgan, which sees them take second place in rally first. Carl Davies and Richard Jones get the slightly battered looking car to the end of the rally after all. Second place in the 1400 C class was theirs this weekend. But taking the class victory there will be Rob and Michael Evatt. First in the 1400 C class and fifth in the 1400 category overall. Andrew Wheatley and Ian Nichols have a good run all day, ending the rally with the rally first victory. Another one to add to their score sheet and that victory tally so far this season.
Brilliant, we've had a great day's sport, really enjoyable. It's a bit of a shame we lost a bit of the competition early on, but hopefully Barton and the rest of them are okay. But it was great fun, as is always the case, and we really enjoyed it.
Change in the B11 class would see Matt and Tim Tordoff line up to take third place in the class in that Fiesta. And it will be third place in the B10 class for this man, Zach Hughes. Jamie Mills alongside. No change to that position in the class for the pair in the second half of the day, but they do at least remain consistent. Ed Fossey and Chris Sharp-Simkis have a good run this weekend, taking third place in the 1400s. This would be after the loss of Freddie Brick from that position. Richard Wells and Calvin Holdsworth would see the finish line of the event. putting the non-finishes that they'd had behind them and taking third place in the N3 class, as well as the Fiesta ST Trophy this weekend. No change to this pair, David Dobson and Graham Hepworth, continuing to hold on to second place in the H2 class to the finish of the rally, taking 16th on the overall leaderboard as well. For Bob Vardy and Ben Cressy, meanwhile, it will be second place in the B10 class to end their rally. They have a good run to finish just 11 seconds off the class winners. Tony Williams and Karen Phelps enjoy a good run, moving up the results the right way and into second place in the B11 class by the finish. A few moments along the way, but a great end to the event and big smiles back in Ludlow. The fight kept up, but there was no change in the end to that BMW battle in the B12 class. Mike Wolf and Mark Twinham take third place in the class at the end of the day. No problems reported for William Hill and Richard Crozier, taking the B10 class victory and sitting just outside the top 10 overall with 12th place. Just above them on the results in 11th place overall would be these men. Colin Griffith, Jack Bowen, second place in the B12 class was theirs as well. On to our top 10 then, and it will be a good finish for Steve Ward and Mike Crawford, taking the H2 class victory and 10th place overall. Alistair Curry and Stephen Brown sadly miss out on the Fiesta ST win, settling for second place this weekend, just 12 seconds behind the class winner. And in that winning position were Finley Redson and Tom Hind, first in the class, the Fiesta ST victory this weekend, and on only his fourth event in the Forests. Andy Davison and Tom Murphy do what they needed to do for their championship battle. Victory in the B11 class this weekend and provisionally in the championship for the season. Paul Street and Ian Jones round out a handful of historic cars in the top of the Silver Star results this weekend. Third place in the class and a great 6th place finish in the Silver Star overall. Barry Jordan and James Grattan Smith keep their Silver Star Championship hopes alive going into the final round with a second in class and 5th place overall finish here at the Woodpecker stages. And it would be the H3 class victory for Rob Dennis and Andrew Boswell. A good return to the stages and clearly with no loss of pace. 4th place overall for the pair. A slightly frustrating end to what had been a great battle for Chris Powell and Jim Lewis. Unable to catch the 1400 leaders and take victory, they would of course be trying, but have a bit of a moment in the final stage, trying a bit too hard, almost ending the rally for them. Thankfully though, they keep hold of it, continuing to the finish to take third place in Silver Star and second in the 1400s. But taking the 1400 victory this weekend would be Dave and Toby Brick. Times fast enough for second in the Silver Star as well, beating much more powerful machinery on their home rally in the process.
Cracking, it's been a tight day altogether with Chris, very close. He was in front and then we were in front, and we just took a fair bit of time out of him in Hopton where it was a bit slippier, and it just made all the difference, so we were lucky, I think. Yeah, had a good day.
And with that 1400 battle all sewn up behind them, it would be the Silver Star victory overall for Ashley Davies and Sam Fordham. Some great pace and some great momentum so far this season, showing that they have what it takes to top the Silver Star results.
Yeah, happy days today. I had to take my Brave pills this morning for that real fast stuff. Flat in 6th gear a lot today. But yeah, really enjoyed it. Hot, dusty. Sam done a cracking job today. Big thanks to all the team, Dad, Lee and Rob, all good.
On to the Gold Star then, and there would be no change to the B13 class as we see Tony Carinanti and Simon Coates taking third in the class at the end of the rally. For Simon Rogers and Wyn Davies, it would be second, finishing just outside the top of the results as well with 13th place overall. On to that top 10 then, and it would be a third place in class finish for Pat Naylor and Ian Lawrence. They hadn't had it easy and they hadn't quite had what it had taken to be in the fight completely. But the times would be good enough for that podium. As it had been all day, second in the Group N fight would belong to Richard Hill and Stefan Evans. The championship title race going down to the final round in Yorkshire. Peter Stevenson and Ian Windress have a good afternoon to get themselves up the overall leaderboard slightly and into 8th place overall. Russ Thompson and Andy Murphy come away this weekend with the Group N victory. They were pushing right to the finish, almost losing it on one corner in the final stage of the day, but they do make it to the end in one piece, crucially ready to head to Yorkshire to fight for that championship win. Tom Preston and Stuart Loudon reached the end of the event with 6th place overall in the Skoda. A good end to the day for the pair, with minimal drama and adding some good variety to the stages as well. Charlie Payne and Carl Williamson were still taking time to settle into the car. The pace was good, just not quite at the top where they needed to be. They end the rally with 5th place overall. Luke Francis and John Roberts have a good end to their event. A much welcomed one as well, as they take the B13 class win and 4th place overall. Despite a hard push through the afternoon, Hugh Hunter and Rob Fagg couldn't quite hold on to that lead. But with no time in the new car to prepare properly, they probably didn't expect to be fighting where they were anyway. 3rd place was a great way to end that story. And for Stephen Petch and Michael Wilkinson, it would be 2nd place to end the rally. Victory would have been nice, but this result was enough to take the 2017 BTRDA title, so they wouldn't be too worried about settling for that slightly smaller bottle of champagne. But for this weekend, it would be victory in the championship for Callum Black and Elliot Edmondson. A good comeback after earlier problems, taking the win by 17 seconds at the finish in Ludlow. So it's victory here on the rally for Callum Black, with Ashley Davies, Dave Brick and Andrew Wheatley all claiming their own category victories as well. The points at the end of this round confirm the long-awaited championship victory for Petch, and just in time for his home round in Yorkshire, where there were still many more battles to be fought and many more titles to be won.
Yeah, testing day to a certain extent, but really enjoyable. Struggled in Hay Park, we lost 30 seconds with the engine cutting out, which is a shame, but managed to take maximum BTRDA points. Petrie won the championship and he deserved it, so yeah, all in all, good year and a good rally.
Yeah, I mean, we've been persevering for a few years now. Sort of believing in yourself, but getting knocked back, you know, so it's good to eventually get there. Didn't make it easy for myself today at all. After the first loop this morning, miles off where I needed to be with the mistakes, so it was sitting back and trying to just do enough to get where we need to be.